Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. So this week is going to be, I haven't had shows, but I'll get into that in a second, I guess. So the main thing is, I've had COVID for 2 weeks. It's been a lot crazier than I ever would have expected. I thought I was a pretty healthy fella, and I thought, if I got it, it'd probably just be like the flu, or maybe I'd be asymptomatic, and never have I been so humbled so quickly. It was very, very brutal. It's not like I was like going around saying that, it wasn't real or something, but I figured it was just, it was bad for people that had all the risk factors, like the older age and the I got the COVID brain still. Any alternative health kind of things going on. I figured it's probably really bad for them, but I experienced it firsthand, and it's probably the most brutal I've ever been sick in my life. So I'll kind of go through it here just to kind of, a lot of people I don't think know somebody who's actually like firsthand experience, but so I got a little sick 2 weeks ago, and I was like, it's a cough, nothing too crazy. Felt a little, fevery, not bad. I just thought it was just like a cold essentially, and I started feeling it on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I wasn't feeling really good, and I canceled all my lessons and everything. And by the end of Wednesday, I was like, oh, I feel normal again. So I was like, okay. And then my mom had mentioned something about a 24-hour flu going around. So I was like, I must have just had that, no big deal. And then I worked Thursday, and, I took some cough medicine, but I really wasn't feeling too crazy. And Thursday night, probably 12 or 1 a.m., I started having trouble breathing, and I don't know, I guess I'm just an idiot ultimately. I should have just known, but my mind was going to all sorts of places, like, oh, I thought maybe I just took too much caffeine to get through the day, or a couple other things I was thinking it could have been. And I had to focus on every breath I took for about 7 hours. And I probably should have just went to the hospital, but I I don't know, I just thought it would end at some point. And I obviously wasn't thinking clearly if I was thinking on every breath that I took. And your mind starts to go a little nuts. You start to think that you're dying. So yeah, that was 7 hours. I talked to my hand percussionist Dave for a few minutes. He said he thought I was just having a panic attack. And then I talked to Big D, my old drummer, because I just figured he's always a night owl. So I hit him up and started talking to him. I probably talked to him for like 2 hours. And that kind of calmed me down a little bit, but I was still struggling to breathe. I didn't go to bed till maybe 10 a.m., so I was up all night. And I probably slept an hour and a half, and then I had shows booked, that would have been, Friday and then Saturday. And I was really worried about those, of course, because I don't like to cancel shows ever. And so I got up and I was kind of excited because I was like, oh, I slept, I must be okay. And, another 20 minutes and I was struggling to breathe again. And my mom convinced me to go get tested. So I went out to the Interstate Center and they didn't have like the rapid one. So I went there and they said I'd get the results in 1 to 2 days. And then my mom convinced me to go to the prompt care. And I went to prompt care and they tested me with a rapid test on the spot. And I did have it. And, I just felt so stupid. I don't know why. I was just so lackadaisical about getting the vaccine. I should have pulled the trigger on that long time ago when as soon as I was eligible. I should have done it. But like with a lot of things that I just was being lazy. I mean, I figured I'd get it at some point, and I figured I wasn't the high risk person, so it wasn't a big deal. But boy, was I wrong. So they gave me a steroid, which helped with the breathing quite a bit. And the next 2 or 3 days, well, I had to tell my work, of course. And then they were actually really cool about it. But I'm still, embarrassed ultimately. But they're like, yeah, don't come in, obviously, and we'll get you your COVID pay, so it won't count towards your sick days. And I don't know, generally just really nice. And I just feel bad, like I, let all of them down, kind of, because they probably all had to work extra and be shorthanded and for a long time. And so anyway, went on. I was feeling okay. I was mostly just the breathing. So apparently what happens is you get the flu or the COVID flu, whatever you want to call it, and your body doesn't know how to react to it, so it attacks it. So it was essentially just attacking my respiratory system. But I wasn't really having, I coughed a little, but I wasn't really having a ton of other symptoms. So I was like, I'm out of the woods. Like, this is going to be, it's going to be a long week, but I'll be able to maybe catch up on a few things. Our house has been kind of a disaster. I was like, I'll be able to clean it in a little bit, maybe put out a lot of podcasts, play music, but I got to be about Monday and I was just, exhausted. Couldn't really get out of bed very much. And along with that is the boredom. It was just, everything was so boring. And my taste was gone completely. And so, the one thing that we had to look forward to, which Lo had the COVID as well, we got her tested Saturday. And she tested positive, of course. But so we both couldn't taste anything. We just sat around and watched TV, and just like nothing was good. We just couldn't find anything to watch the whole time, which I think made it even more of a struggle. But I don't know if that was just because of my mindset was in such a kind of dark place. It's just like nothing sounded good or seemed good. I also had to. So I got 4 shows I had to cancel. So Friday would have been a new place, I believe in Monticello, called the Fieldhouse 219. And I called them the Friday. They really didn't have much of a problem with me canceling. They didn't, and they were pretty nice about it. And then Saturday I was supposed to play at Door 4 Brewing in Decatur. And then, so I got a guy I know that's a pretty good musician, Justin Michael Brown. He's been playing with Dave here and there. And I got them to cover that show. And then I was supposed to play my first show at Cruisin's on War Memorial the next Friday, but that was within the quarantine days, so I couldn't do it for sure. So I told Blair if he wanted it, he could have it, and he went ahead and did that. And then Saturday, which is kind of the would have been like the cap on the couple weeks, would have been I was supposed to play acoustic at Distill, which is an awesome place, very cool, and would have been outside. And it was kind of a bad date to have, I think, ultimately, because Chicago Farmer played the night before, and I think a lot of people probably that would have decided to go to one night, they probably would have picked that night because, he's great. But, and he's probably one of the biggest acts in town, so I think he probably brought a ton of people. But I calculated it later, and out of those 4 shows before tips, I would have made $1,075 that I, just don't have. And it would have been more. Of course, I would have paid other musicians out and stuff. That whoever played with me would have got chunks of that. But, that's a good chunk of change. And that would have been like the first, like, real, I think, good couple weeks in the summer. I've had shows, but none of them have been as good paying wise. So that was a definite bummer, and I just hate to have to cancel shows. It's like my least favorite thing to do. But I mean, there's nothing I could really do. And even if I would have not canceled them and would have been safe to do them, I wouldn't have been able to perform. Because as the week went on, I could move less and less, and I got a lot more pain. Like, I have a really soft bed, but I was laying in it and felt like I was laying on bricks. Like, my lower back was just in immense pain. And so eventually on Thursday, I pretty much felt like I had locked-in syndrome. Like, I couldn't really, not only I was just depressed too. I mean, I don't think I've ever felt that low, because I couldn't muster the strength to even talk more than one word answers. And so then Lo convinced me to go to the emergency room. She drove me, and that was a good call, because they gave me some stuff that eased the pain, ultimately. And it helped. I mean, that day was like I could like talk and move around a little bit. Still, not myself, but so then they told me when I was at the emergency room that I had COVID pneumonia. So that was probably the cause of a lot of that. And about 2 days, I got to be Saturday, and I just, again, couldn't get out of bed. And got to be Sunday, and my work was kind of getting back and forth with me, asking me questions here and there. And eventually, I was like, I don't think I'm going to even, because that Monday would have been 10 days since I was tested positive. So I theoretically, I think, could have went back to work that day, but I asked if I could wait till Tuesday, and they were completely fine with it. And then Monday rolled around, and Lo had to go to the hospital because of the COVID stuff. She was just kind of became unresponsive. So, and she was there for 2 days, and so I had to ask my boss for an extension again, and I, again, just don't like canceling stuff, or, I wish I would have just waited to even mention coming back. But eventually, he got back to me and said that I should wait till Saturday to come back. So, I spent 2 days kind of back and forth at the hospital. I'd go there for 5-hour chunks, and then I'd come back and try to get some sleep. I didn't sleep the whole first night that she was there. And then I went home at like 8 a.m. and slept a little bit. But they kept saying that they were going to let her leave, and they just wouldn't. So then finally yesterday was the day that they discharged her, and then she was good for at like noon or 1. And, Tuesday was the day I think I started to really turn around. But I don't know. I feel mentally like a different person. It's hard to come back from all this. I've never been that down before. But now that I'm, up and moving, it's definitely I'm in a better spot. And I have 2 shows this weekend. I'm playing at the Neon Bison on Friday in Peoria. First time I'll ever be over there. And I'm nervous ultimately. I mean, I haven't played a show in a couple weeks. I've been practicing since Monday. I practiced half hour Monday, hour Tuesday, hour last night. And I'm going to practice today too, and probably a little bit tomorrow. But I'm going to be sitting down, I think, ultimately. I just don't have my cardio is 100% gone, which is something that I always work really hard to maintain. So that's definitely a bummer. I know this whole podcast is pretty much a bummer. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you taking the time. But yeah, it was just brutal. I don't really know what else to say. But I'm still coughing a little bit, and that, causes problems with the singing, obviously. I got a little bit of cough medicine I guess I'm going to try to take. I mean, I've been able to practice, so I just don't think it's going to be a great performance. Dave's supposed to play with me as well, and I don't know that. I mean, he doesn't even have a phone right now, so that's been weird. I've been trying to get a hold of him a lot. But he did come by yesterday and say that he was going to play both shows, so I think that'll be good. But this new play, it's the first time I've ever played at this place in Peoria, so they post Instagram videos all the time, and the caliber of performers there are just crazy good. I just wish I could be at my best for it, because it makes me think that, I'm not at that level, and I don't think that they'll want me back compared to the musicians that they have, because just some great singers. So, and I haven't sang through a sound system in a long time at this point. But I'm going to sit down and do the cajon and tap shoe instead of stand. Hopefully that'll get me more stamina to focus on the performing. I've been really focusing on just like trying to play quiet, not have to try to sing. And then Saturday I'm playing at Cadillac Jack's, and we're supposed to do that 3-piece, and I'm guessing it'll be outside, but it's usually a good show over there. But obviously I'm still worried that I'm not going to be, back to normal, and I have to work all day before then, so I know my stamina is going to be really feeling it by then. I'm probably going to try to start working out today a little bit, just tiny stuff to kind of get back into it. But so that'll be what I'm talking about next week. Those 2 shows, I hope that they go okay, but I think I just got to do them, I think it's more about just doing the job. And so the other thing is, I guess they changed the policy for the COVID sick days this month. So it was like the worst time I could have got COVID because my work called me yesterday and said that, um, I'm not going to get that COVID pay. And I haven't been there quite a year, so I don't even have like full, because usually I think it's like 2 weeks of vacation time and 2 weeks of sick time or something like that after you've been there so long, but that takes a while to come into effect. So, and I'm gonna need days off, down the road for shows and stuff. So I don't know if maybe I'll be able to apply for something online or something to get some relief, but I don't know. It's gonna be a weird month. But anyway, I just thought I would check in. Not that, many people listen or anything, but that is what's been going on with me. So I've been pretty radio silent on any social media and stuff. I mean, I couldn't even get out of bed, so. But anybody who takes the time to listen, I always appreciate you. And hopefully after the shows this week, I will be, in better spirits and feel better and more positive, and my cardio will be back a little bit. I'll be back working, which of course is a double-edged sword, the working thing. But I don't know, when you're at home for 2 weeks not doing anything, work doesn't even sound that bad. But all right, well, have a good rest of your week, and I will probably talk to you soon.